Hi, I just want to say, I hope you know this is amazing.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yes, like my jaw is it hurts for me dropping it. So
Your
it's
what hurts?
amazing. My jaw,
Oh, your
because it's
jaw.
been dropped the whole time. I'm like, what? This is
Oh,
so cool.
I'm so glad.
You are welcome. And how do you pronounce your last name?
Mislinsky.
Okay, I'm a Kaminsky,
Oh,
so I just thought I'd ask.
I'm a Mislinsky by marriage, so I'm still getting
Um,
used to it.
oh, I understand. I'm a Kaminsky by marriage also,
Yeah.
and I'm Black, and you have no idea how confused people are with
Oh,
the
that's
name, and it's crazy. So
yeah.
anyway, sorry.
No, that's funny. All right, we'll wait till everybody else gets back on.
Do you happen to know the pricing of Adobe Illustrator? Because I don't have it, and I'll need to buy it.
I know right now, I think they only do subscription based.
Oh,
So you sign up through
okay.
Adobe and you pay whatever, and you could, I think they have bundles where you could get Illustrator, Lightroom, Photoshop, and you pay whatever a month and it's web-based.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm not sure what it costs, but I've had this for probably 10 years and it's the old school, like you download it on your computer software.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I don't think that exists anymore.
Okay.
You could probably get it. So I was Googling today too, and I saw it for like, I don't know, around 300 or something like that. But I think it was for the software, but I think it was getting it at like, I don't know, it was Best Buy or I
It's definitely not cheap.
Right. But it's looking very much worth it. It's
Yeah,
just the mirroring thing that you showed. I was like, because just today, maybe 2 hours ago, I messed up and cut two of the same leg size. And I was like, how did I do that? But mirroring would do wonders.
Yes, I've done that so many times and you get so mad. You get so mad and then
Yes.
you gotta go buy more fabric and
yes.
You lost a bunch of people, but I'll send
it looks like this price. It looks like the price is a 1-year subscription. So you're right. It is subscription based.
Oh, okay.
So the price that I see.
There's a 2-week trial period. You can try it out and see if you like it. That's what I did.
Free trial.
It out now.
Okay.
Stephanie,
thank you.
There's a free program called Inkscape. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Through the group, I've heard it a lot.
Is it the same or similar?
It's a vector software like Illustrator. I've played around with it and I'm sure it's easy to use, but since I'm so used to Illustrator, I just got frustrated and didn't feel like even trying to learn it. But I'm sure it's no more difficult than, well, not that it's difficult, but I'm sure it's no more involved in this. I just was so used to this. I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because I had this already. And then somebody in one of the posts on Facebook told me about some other software that they say is on sale a lot and it's not a subscription, you just buy it. I'll have to because she was like, oh, somebody said, oh, is this just going to be a class on Illustrator? And I said, yeah. And this one woman was like, oh, well, I use blah 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 and it's really similar and it's not as expensive. I will have to find it. I'll find it.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just having to be careful because I just bought the projector and I have a TV stand that'll be here Friday. And so,
So exciting.
Yeah.
I don't know
my projector is still in the box, so I feel you.
Oh.
Yeah. I got it for my birthday, which was in February. But it's
no, man.
The whole thing.
Get that thing. Get it. Get that thing out. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Is everybody seeing my screen again?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we moved in June and it took me a month to get the projector up and I thought that was too long.
Yeah.
And having to recalibrate it, I was like, no, it was all done at the old house. And
Mm,
But one of the files that I included in the Google Drive is
That's
a
what that
mock-up
was.
like this for you to use as a template.
so cool.
Yeah, because so many times, I mean, I'm short, I have to shorten patterns, and I always find that what the pattern says the fabric needs are, I never need that much. So
Mhm.
I like to take the sizes that I need and pop it on here and rearrange them, because I always find that too, a lot of the digital patterns, some of them don't suggest layouts for cutting. So I like to lay them all out here and kind of mess around, and then it helps me cutting, and it also helps me to know how much I need to buy.
Mhm.
So let me get good. Yeah, I made a floor length gown a couple months ago, and laying that out, nope, that's the wrong file, was really, really crucial, because I had to modify the width of the skirt panels because I didn't have enough fabric. And so I based off the pattern alterations based off of the fabric, because it was a fabric I bought years ago and just had it in my stash. So I actually adjusted the pattern based on the fabric I had and used this kind of mock-up to do it. So I was afraid I was going to start cutting all the skirt panels and then run out of fabric and then get mad because it was a fabric I couldn't buy anymore. What is going on? Was it, was it? I don't know.
It's funny that you're doing a lot of patterns for pirates, because the pattern that I cut 2 items of were peg legs.
I love those. I haven't made one in a long time, but they are great.
Yes. Yes.
Do you do the same type of thing with the projector file?
Yes. Yeah, I'll either use the A0 file or the projector file, whichever the pattern company gives.
And is the projector file, I mean, like, but the process is the same for what you're doing?
Yep.
Okay.
No, this is not what I wanted. This shows you how I unfolded and duplicated everything. Where I have one I know I just did. There we go. So this is a dress I'm in the process of making. I think I posted a picture of the mock-up. It was like floral and like yellow, like maxi dress. I'm excited to get that. I cut half of it, and then I haven't had time to cut the rest of it. What is going on? Oh, so here we go. So I laid, that's all weird. So I laid out the front skirt, the back skirt, the bodice pieces, and then said, okay, I can't get away with 2 yards. I got to buy 3. So I just select the pattern, the pieces that are the sizes I need, throw them out here, and then go from there. So this file as a template, I put in the Google Drive, so you can download that and use that if you'd like to. All right, and since Stephanie, you're working on the peg legs, that was really the first pattern that I did the digital alteration on, because my inseam's a little short, so I wanted to take height off of it.
Right, right.
So I can show you, show you how to do, let's say, the grading and taking height out.
Ooh, that'd be fantastic.
Oh, you're actually doing the video?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were just watching a video. Nice.
Well, I had questions.
That's
Hey
so
there.
cool.
Okay, see, sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
This is Mylinsky. Her last name is Mylinsky.
Nice.
Where's my peg legs? Here we go. Let's see. I'm gonna show you all my crazy peg legs. And I have peg legs I've made for friends, so I have all their custom sizes saved. That's what I love about this too. I'd make stuff for friends and had all the paper patterns and saving them, and now I just save everything digitally.
Yes.
Which is great. I hope this is recording. Oh, yeah,
Says recording.
pause or stop recording. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I just panicked for a second. Because I know we lost a bunch of people on the transition. Come on. Sometimes it does this. Like when I try to open a new file, it shrinks the window and then says it can't open it. Let's do it this way. File open. If this doesn't work, we'll just use the top here for the example. Ah, ta-da! All right. So peg legs, if anybody's not familiar, is just a leggings pattern from Patterns for Pirates. So here you see I unfolded all the waistband pieces. Oh, see here there was see where I grouped everything. So you've got your extra small. So I regrouped all the pieces. And then I've got, yep. Which one is this? So that's the standard pattern. Then I've got, whoops. Why are none of these custom patterns here? Well, that's scary. Where are all the custom? Well, we can make a custom one for a demo. All right, so to grade, we can do grading and shortening and lengthening all at the same time. So what I like to do here is, oh, now is it working? All right. So to shorten and lengthen or grade, I like to start with the original pattern. So let's say I know I need to grade a small, a medium, and a large all together. I'll copy those. I'll hide the original, then I'll paste it into a new layer. So I'll say me. I'm gonna move it over here. Again, this can be personal preference, but I like working with it up and down like this. But again, depends on what you'd like. So then let's say then for me, I have a small, medium, large, and I like to then pick the size that I need the most. So I'll say a medium. The majority of what I'm going to need is a medium. So I'll copy and paste that on top, and I'll lock all these other layers. Actually, I like to make them a little bit transparent or opaque, and then I'll lock them. So you can see they're a little faded, and then I'll put my medium right back where the medium goes. See, this is where I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take the medium, copy, and then Control B to paste it exactly where it was, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna lock all my other layers after I fade. Oh, they are faded. I'm gonna fade them a little more. There we go. So now I'm going to work off the medium to grade. So let's say I need a large waist. What I like to do is you hit either over here, the direct select tool, or A. Then I click on the anchor here, and I'll drag it out to the large. Same thing with this point. Sometimes it's wonky, like if it's not one big, or if it's not one excuse me, one continuous line like that, it'll get a little weird. So then I've graded now my waist out to a large. You can also, if you select one anchor and then hit shift and select another anchor and then use your arrow, you can move them together. And then that just arrows it over. And then select that one. Now, so then let's say you have a large waist. Whoop. So I now have graded out to a large waist. And then if I want to have a medium, like crotch and hip. So you've graded now from a medium crotch up to the large hip, or I'm sorry, large waist, then let's say, like for me, I have stupidly skinny calves. So then I'll take my points down here and let's take in the dark or the, so click here to find the anchor point. There we go. And I actually think, oh wow, that's not connected either. I think I actually need an extra small calf. So I'll take that. Oh, these lines are all not. This is what happens. It's wonky sometimes when you convert the PDFs to the illustrators, that the lines aren't continuous. So then you've got to like move each anchor point in. So here I should have kept the extra small, so I had those lines as reference points. But for here, I'll just move it to the small. And that's why I like to keep the original sizes in the background locked. So I have the curve of the pattern for reference and that size point for reference. So I'm doing a really quick sloppy job here, but does the concept make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
I see
so
shaking.
much sense.
Okay. And for me, I know on a lot of dresses I make, I'll be a medium bust, but a large shoulder and a medium waist, and then a small hip. Like my sizes are so wonky. So I've got to alter almost every single, not almost, I have to alter every single pattern because I am definitely not one size for the whole pattern. And
right.
then,
I just did my measurements for a cashmere pattern, and my bust was a 14 in hers. My waist was a 14 in her sizes, and my hips are a size 4 in her sizes.
oh, wow. And
So
what pattern company?
Cashmere.
Oh, okay.
She does
Another
plus
one.
size. Yeah, she does plus size patterns, and she just started doing regular size patterns. And I was just like, wow, that's 5 sizes to grade.
Yeah. But that's why it's so cool to make clothes, because we can make stuff that fits perfectly.
Yes, 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 yes.
So then if you, to make it longer or shorter, and actually, if I go back to this for an example, if it's something like with this legging, this isn't a symmetrical piece, so I need to grade each side individually. But I should have made that, I should have commented on that in the beginning. If you've got something that's symmetrical, like a shirt, if we go to, sorry, here, we'll do the pink one for the sake of the example. Same stroke. I learned this the hard way also. Oops. He's not learning it the hard way, learning it the really long way. Because it's quicker if you just alter one side, then mirror and flip it, because then you don't have to go back and make sure you did each side exactly symmetrical, because I find that very, very, very difficult to get it exactly perfect. So if I know I have to make alterations, I do that before I flip and, I'm sorry, before I mirror and flip it. You can still group it.
Fantastic.
So if I need, let's say I want my shoulders bigger or wider, so I'll go ahead and make shoulders wider. I got to make the waist more narrow. Let's say I want to make, I need to take up the length in the bottom. Then let's say I did this on the striped dress that I just made. I wanted to make a boat neck, and the options were a off the shoulder super wide or a scoop neck. So I took my line here. Wrong line. I took my shoulder line here, and I just, sometimes too, if I know there's a neckline I delete it, because I always make a copy of the original layer, so you can lock, protect the original file that you just spent all that time organizing. So you have that original one. And then when you make modifications, you still have that original as a backup. So I'll delete stuff I don't need on my copy. And then I'll take my neck out. Let's say I want, actually, we're going to rewind. All right, so I delete that. I will make a copy of this too, because I like to make sure that when I do make the alterations, I'm still keeping the initial or the original like slope and shape of the pattern. So I'll lock this one. Sometimes I make them a different color. We'll make that blue. I'll lock it. Then I say, okay, I want to make my neckline much wider. So, come out here, you can change by taking these handles, you can change the angle of the curve. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. So I like to keep the original layer underneath it to make sure I'm keeping the shoulder slope or whatever the piece is, like with the leggings, to make sure I'm keeping the shape and the curve of the legging the same when I'm grading the sizes. That's how I make a bunch of those modifications. Yeah, so then you've got your even if your waist has to come out or in, or let's say your armhole. I don't even know how to say that. Arms. I don't know how that. If you got to drop your armhole, or raise your armhole, you could do that. In the dress that I just made, it was a straight rectangle piece, but I wanted it to be slightly tapered. So at the bottom, I brought it in. So if let's say that you want to bring it in an inch on each side, with Illustrator, it does math for you, which is awesome. So if you want to bring your whether it's a dress or a skirt, you want to bring that in an inch, let's say, to make it tapered. This is pixels, not inches, but you could say, okay, your X piece on your X axis, you can do plus. There's 72 pixels in an inch, so do 72, and that's going to bring it in an inch. So if you physically measure it with your tape measure, you can type in the math into Illustrator up here, and it will automatically do that math for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes,
still
but I'm
good.
gonna have to watch this like 10 times.
Every single time I open Adobe. And it's an arm's eye, is how it's pronounced.
Arm's eye?
Arm's eye.
Thank you very much. I knew I butchered it. So then if you want to add or subtract length, so here you can see, I'll zoom in more. I'm gonna get rid of these notches. So you have your fold, your hem fold, but to make it easier, so it's so weird that these pieces are all separate. I'm trying to figure out how I can make this easier. All right, so here, we'll go up here. So we're at the mid thigh. Let's say you need to reduce your inseam by, we'll say 2 inches. That'll be a good drastic example. I click on at whatever point you want to make the length or shortening point. So I know some digital patterns have the shorten length in line, some don't. The patterns for pirates don't. So I just kind of wing it. If there's an anchor point already where you want to make the adjustment, that's easy and great. If not, you can add an anchor point. So you come over here to the pen tool and click and hold, and then plus, and plus the anchor, or you can hit plus on your keyboard. And then if you hover over the line and click, it adds a new anchor for you. And to be precise, so you're making the adjustment in the same spot. On the other side, you click it, and then so your height is the same. So this is saying the Y point is 21.9549 height. so I copy that. Then I make a new, I just approximate where that same point is going to be over here. But then I go up to the field here, paste the value. So then it's exactly in the same height spot as the other side. So then, now this might not be the right way to do this, but I then make another anchor point right below it. And the same thing over here, right below it. And then I delete those. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That did work, but then it put a big gap here, but that's okay. I'm going to hide these to make it easier to see. So now you've got where, excuse me, where in order to, here, let's see. I don't want it to be too confusing by taking that big chunk out. So then you'd have to make a third point. So you hit your pen tool, you add a third dot and cut over here. Now you would delete, and I have to zoom in a lot. Where's all my dots? Wow, this is hard to see. You know, 1, 2. Sometimes it's pain, you have to like hover to find everything. So that's the middle dot. I'm going to delete that. Now we just have a teeny tiny little gap here. Same over here. 1, 2, 3. So that's my middle one. All right. So here's the fun part. Delete that just for now. All right. So then I'm going to select. Oh, this is not connected. I talk to myself a lot when I'm doing this, and sometimes curse a lot when I'm doing this. Right. There we go. So you're going to take the direct select tool, A on the keyboard, and highlight that bottom part that you want to move. You have to make sure it selects all the anchor points. Go back to the regular selection tool, V. Then I'll go up to our reference points here again, and I'll click the very top because we want to move. Well, I guess it really doesn't matter. We're going to move the whole piece anyway, so I guess that doesn't matter. Then we're going to go do the Y. The Y point is the up and down point, and then we're going to hit plus. Oh, this is in inches, so plus 2 inches, and then that's going to drop that down 2 inches. Then I'll turn these back on so I can see the curvature of the lines, and then I'll reconnect these pieces. Actually, I'll turn them off to make it easier to reconnect them. So this piece. Sometimes the patterns get a little wonky when you convert them. So sometimes you gotta move pieces around. That one looks okay. Can I include those? No. All right. So with the direct selection tool, I'm going to click that anchor and then click the one down here. And then up here are options to like manipulate those. So this 2 dots with a dotted line means it connects them. So now this is one piece. So I'm going to come back down and do that here. Connect them. Now I know it looks really wonky. So then I'll go back and I'll turn on all my layers. We don't need the large. I'll get the direct select tool again, and then I'll kind of just smooth this all out. Oh, and now we found another point that didn't connect. So again, I'm doing this like kind of sloppy, but hopefully it illustrates the point. So we split the two. We split the top and the bottom of the pants into 2 pieces, drop the bottom down 2 inches, or if you need an inch less, you would just move it up an inch. Then I reconnected the pieces and then just smoothed out. Well, I didn't do a great job, but smoothed out the lines. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Sure does.
I know it's a lot. So I hope it's easy to digest. So pattern does degrading, shortening and lengthening necklines, changing the shape. Any questions or anything that wasn't clear you'd like me to do again?
I'm gonna have to watch this so many times, but no, I understand what you're doing. So that's what's important.
I put a doc in the Google Drive called resources, and I found a really great YouTube channel that like all they do is digital Adobe Illustrator adjustments, and they've got tutorials that are even more advanced than I even know how to do.
Okay.
But it's really great to just look through this guy's, I think he's out of London, and he just has so many videos on digital pattern adjustment. So I put the link to that guy's YouTube channel in the resources.
Thank you.
Sure. And then let's see, the layout I showed you guys again. So you have your leggings, you're like, okay, cool, here's my legging pattern. Yeah, you can, oh, and then with the leggings too, just as a quick, show you again. Oh, also what I like to do too is for the projector, I like to make the lines thicker, like the grain line. So I'll select all this. Sometimes it's a pain and it says that they all don't have the same stroke, but I'll make it, just pick one color. Sometimes I'll make it navy or red or whatever. And then I'll just, usually I like to keep it under 5 points, so the line's not too thick, and then you lose a little bit of nuance of the pattern, but so you can change the colors of the line to whatever you want. You make it thinner, thicker. So then for cutting, I'll copy, paste it. Then I'll go to object, transform, reflect. And now you've got your mirrored leggings, so you're not cutting. I did that with making pajama pants for my kids. I cut the two of the same side of the legs with a Christmas pattern, and I'm so mad.
Yeah, that's why this is a beautiful little class you're giving us.
I'm glad it's helpful. So then, I'll take my leggings, I'll paste them over to my yardage markup. And because the projector file is to scale, that's why this works, because I made this mock-up to scale. The mock-up is 60 yards wide by 3 yards long. So that's why it all lines up and will accurately show what it should be. You lock that bottom layer so you can't mess with that. Then you can say, okay, I need to buy 1.25 yards or 2 yards or whatever you want to do, because then you'll have your waistband pieces and all that. So this could be helpful for your layout for cutting, and it can be helpful for how much fabric to buy. Do you want me to do a couple like quick mock-ups, or is that enough for one night?
I'm gonna have to sign off, but I really appreciate this, what you included here. That's just this was wonderful for me. But I will watch them. If you do mock-ups, I will watch them.
I could always do the mock-up like offline and record it, and then just, since I have everybody's email, I could just put that on YouTube and send it out.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll do that.
That would be awesome.
Getting a little tired too.
It's a lot to digest, actually.
Oh no, I know, and it took me a long time to figure this out and get good at it. So it takes time, but I'm thrilled to be. And thank you, Mohini. Is that how do you say your name again?
Mohini.
Mohini. Okay, thank you for suggesting this.
Yeah, I saw your post and you're like, I did this, this, and this. I was like, what? How did you do that? I need to know. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just starting out and I just
Yep.
I want to be, I guess, prepared for doing all this stuff. So I really appreciate it.
Oh,
I have a
sure.
couple questions.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering, could you go over the tools that you're using again, like the difference between the regular selection tool and I think you called it selection A or something like that?
Yes, definitely. Oh, who's playing piano? That's so nice.
My son's piano lesson is happening right now.
Oh, I took piano lessons growing up. Oh, brings back memories. All right, so let's pull up something that I didn't mess around with. This is going to be as good as anything. Is that the, all right, let's see. So if you use the up here, the black filled in arrow, that's called the regular selection tool. I just love keyboard shortcuts. So this is V. And that when you click on anything, if it's a group or it's individual pieces, the direct selection tool will click on the entire thing. And then you can click and drag and move it around. The direct select tool, which is the white cursor, and it changes colors too. You can see the cursor is white, or here the cursor is black. So it kind of helps visually so you know which tool you're in. Or A, what this does is it selects just the anchor point or just the line. So if you have the regular selection tool and you click on this piece, it carries or moves the whole piece around. The direct selection tool, like let's say I click on the shoulder line, of course it didn't work. If I'm going to click on the shoulder line, it's going to move just that line. Or if I want to move the neckline down, I'm going to click on the anchor point. When you hover over it and you see a white square, that's the anchor point. Those are the points where you can modify the pattern, or you can add your own anchor points. So you click on the anchor, and then when you click and drag, that's going to move around just that point. So you can take your anchor on the neckline, and let's say you want to make a V-neck. You can do that. And then also on the anchor point with the direct selection tool is you can change the angle of these curves. So you can, this is called a handle, the little solid circle. You can move the handle around to change the curvature. And you can also drag the handle outwards to kind of lengthen the curve. That makes sense? Not sure what the word is, but yeah. So the handle moves the angle of your line, but then the dot, the anchor, actually moves the point that it is. And then let's say, I don't know, I don't even have an example, but let's say you want to add, I don't know, you want to add a point somewhere to make an adjustment. You click this is the pen tool. If you click and hold on to it, the pen tool lets you, like if you want to make your own piece, you just click, 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 and then finish it. And then that makes a new piece. Or if you have an existing, these are called, all the lines are called paths. If I hover over it, you can see in lime green, it says path. You can add, if you click and hold, add anchor point, you can add an anchor to any path, and then you have to get the direct select tool again. And now you've got another anchor to manipulate. What else did I use? Let's say something simple, like on the dress with the stripes, I made the ties on them. That was just a simple rectangle. So I just measured how long I wanted it to be, how wide I wanted it to be. And this tool has rectangles, squares, stars. So I just, you click that. And then normally I make all my files in inches. So this one defaulted to pixels, which to me, pixels are good for digital things, but in real life, we're not going to measure our skirt. Our skirt is 2,600 pixels. That doesn't help. So I convert it. If you go to File, Document Setup, you can convert it to inches. So now everything up here changed back to inches. So if I have my rectangle, that's going to be my tie, and I want it to be here, this length here means it's going to proportionately change. So if it's 15 and I want it to be 20, it's going to proportionally change the length and the height. But if I want to change the height without changing the width, let's say I want this more narrow, you unclick the link. And now if I want this to be 1.5 inches, it changes the width without the length. So if you want to add a piece to your pattern, you can do it as simple as just making a rectangle. So here you click and hold, you can make circles. You can fill them in. You can do all sorts of fun things.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Like it definitely, you're moving so quickly. So some of the, I was watching what you were doing, but trying to figure out what you clicked on. And
Yep.
I just want to make sure I got it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You could have asked me to go slower. Anything else?
I think it's really, until like get in there and start trying myself. But I mean, just the concept of for me, the concept of breaking up or ungrouping and regrouping what you want to use, the mirror, all that stuff is really helpful. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can, there's much easier, well, like if you just want to take a pattern as is and project it, you definitely can. You don't have to make it this hard. And Patterns for Pirates locks their PDFs. So when you try to open it in Illustrator, it doesn't let you. You have to go online and find websites that will unlock it because they password protect it, which makes sense because they don't want people messing with their patterns. But so let's say, again, we'll go to the leggings. Where's the leggings? So they don't have a projector file here. Let me find one that actually has a projector. Is the kids project? All right, so this is a kids t-shirt pattern. So you can project directly from the PDF. So the difference between projector files and the A0s, the projector files, they lay all the pieces out in the same direction for cutting. With the A0 files, they're not intended for projecting. They're intended for printing on a huge format. So they just shove all the pieces on the PDF in whatever random order to be able to get them all printed on the same page. So this is neat because they align everything properly. This is a peekaboo pattern for a kid's shirt and bodysuit. So here they put the calibration grids, so you can turn those off. And then let's say you just want to make a 6-month bodysuit. You turn all the layers off except for the 6 months and you project it. Super straightforward, really easy, but you just don't have the mirroring and the flipping. Like this hood piece, I made this before. You got to cut 4 hoods, 2 main, 2 lining, and mirror images. So to me, like to project this, it's tricky without having all the pieces because it's not a piece of paper that you can flip and physically mirror like with a tissue paper pattern. So you can do it this way. I mean, the same up here, there's neck bands on almost every pattern. When there's a waistband or a neckband, I flip and unfold those. So it can be done just from a PDF. You just can't really do any modifications that way.
And so this is a PDF file, projector file. So you would do the same thing and convert it to an Illustrator file, and then you would be able to manipulate the.
Yes.
the
So here,
pieces.
like this one, I've already done. I've made this a bunch of times. So yes, here you can see like how the original pattern comes to you. And then you go here. So you see here, like on this version, nothing's unfolded. So I unfolded all the pieces. Let's think. All right, let's say I didn't looks like I didn't unfold or make all the mirrors of the hood, but so you have the hood, you've got t-shirt front and back, hoodie, t-shirt and the hoodie front and back, and then like you see here, after I regrouped all the sizes, I renamed everything. And then you get take this, move it around, do whatever you want to do, bodysuit, leg bands, dresses. So even once you import it into Illustrator, then you can move it around and customize it. And usually for kids stuff, I don't grade the pattern, I just make it as is. So projecting for kids stuff is a lot easier. But for anything I make for myself or any other adult, it's a lot more work.
So I don't know if I missed it, but how do you, once you have all your pieces manipulated the way you want, how do you get it on your layout?
Okay, good question. So where's the, let me find, we'll use the kid shirt as an example. Okay, so let's say we want to make a kids hoodie size, we'll say 2T. So here I would I would turn on just the layers that I need. So I'm gonna need the hood, the front, the back. I don't need a bodysuit. I don't need leg bands. I would need the neck band. I would need the hoodie band. I would need the cuffs, I think. So I would go here and see here, I didn't organize everything completely on this one. All right, I'm gonna skip that one just for now. All right, so here we go. Same thing with the cuffs. It just showed one, but you have to cut two. So I copy pasted and then just line them up. So I just cut it as one big thing and cut it in half. So I'll take, so I know I have my cuffs. So I'll copy and paste the cuff onto my layout. Then get rid of everything I'm not using. Then I know, so I have my cuff. I know I need a neck band. I'll get my 2T neck band. Over here. Oop.
So you just have both files open in Illustrator at once. Is that what it is? And you're moving it from one to the other?
Exactly. Yep. I'm copy and pasting from one to the other. So I have my neck band, then the t-shirt front. So I have my 2T t-shirt. So I'm going to copy, either edit, copy, or Control C. Bring over here. Then I'll just do the back. 2T, copy. Now, usually if this is what I'm going to use to actually cut, I will copy the grain lines and everything. And I'm lefty, so I do everything backwards. So here, I'll put it back to regular. So I've got my shirt front, my shirt back. I've got this, I think is the neck band, the cuffs, and then my hood pieces I didn't copy. So if I have a 2T hood, copy that, I'll bring it over here. I'll copy, paste. copy paste, I'll reflect that or transform reflect. So I get my mirrored hoodie. Oh, I copy and pasted way too many of those. So then I've got my hoodies. I'll copy and paste those. So now I have my 4 sets of hoods, my 2 main and 2 lining mirror images.
Would you really do that for a lining? Even like do all 4 for the lining? Because wouldn't you just switch out fabrics?
Oh, you're right. Yes. Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, good call. So yeah. But if I'm trying to measure for how much fabric I need to buy, like if I want the main and the lining to be the same fabric, I would do this just to measure how much fabric I needed. But you're right, for cutting, no, you would just need one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But yeah, but for lining, if it's a different fabric, then it wouldn't be as, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you would use this file when you're projecting, is that right?
Yes. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I usually do just because I've wasted so much fabric not planning this out. And I just wing it. I'm like, oh, I know I need 2 yards. Let me just throw the pieces on it. Let me just project it and cut it. And then I end up just wasting fabric or miscutting. And then I need to go buy more fabric. So I like to lay it out like this and then project and cut it like that to the best of my ability.
Yeah. Yeah. My strategy has always just been like cut the biggest pieces first and then like fit in everything else where you can.
Yes.
But I like that you can move things closer and the mirroring thing is great.
Yeah.
So sorry about my background noise.
Oh no, it's lovely. How old's your son?
He's 7.
Oh, that's about when I started lessons. That's great.
He was
Well, I'm
mad
going
at
to
me
say
at
good
first.
night. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
You're
this.
welcome. I'll email everybody the recordings.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good night.
All right. Well, I'll let you go too. It's already, been what, an hour and a half. So
Yeah, no, that's okay. This is fun.
this has been awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining and suggesting it.
Yeah. Love to, I don't know. Love to do more.
Yeah, and if you have questions, if you ever want to email me or message me on Facebook, feel free. I'd be happy to help you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
you got it down. So thanks so much.
Great. Well, have a
right.
great night, everybody.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.